Well, what's up there, boys and girls, and ladies and gentlemen of the interwebs and the Book of Faces and well, I guess not the Twitters anymore, huh? Elon's proved that that's just a giant farce. Anyway, that's not what we're talking about. So, as you can see, we're doing more wiring. It's like 99% of these freaking builds is wiring, either Crown Vic wiring or other miscellaneous wiring and stuff. So, as I pointed out, so we're on the Stunt Truck. As I said before, we got the Painless kit for this year. Well, not just this Euro truck. This actually is for 67 to 77 21 circuits. So, I mean, this thing has everything. Might actually go through some detailed stuff on it later or tomorrow or something like that with it. But it's got everything. It's got the different connectors for the different years and stuff. For like the column, the plug that plugs into the bottom harness on the plug-in, or for the column that hangs down there, it's got different adapter ends depending on what your truck you have. Same with like the headlights I think are all the same, but some other different stuff with it depending on what you want to do. But and it also comes with a new ignition switch in it. Comes with a new light switch. Comes with a new wiper switch as well too with it. So pretty cool setup. But it's literally everything from headlights to the tail lights and everything else in here. So radio, AC, and heat are all in there as well too. Of course, with this one we're using the Crown Vic AC, so we're not using that kind of stuff. It obviously has all of the wiring for the engine bay as well too, which we're not using any of that stuff as well. But it has the door switches for the dome light, even has for the cargo light, which this one doesn't have the cargo light, so we won't be using that. But yeah, it has all that stuff. Even has a cigarette lighter, has some light, all the light stuff in it too. Has all the stuff for the cluster depending on what year truck you have as well too with it. So the bulbs and sensors and all that kind of stuff is dummy lights. So it's cool. The oil pressure and stuff like that, and the alternator and all that, you can either just hook them to lights or you can actually hook them to sensors too. So pretty cool. Again, that stuff's going to be left underneath the dash. You're all strapped up and everything and stuff onto it. I thought about going through and eliminating it, but now it's in there. So in case the customer or anyone else down the road wants to throw in some other motor, then all of that stuff's all in there. And same with the cluster as well too. That way the original truck cluster can be put back into it, because of course we're using the Dakota Digital in this one too, so it'll kick ass. But yeah, so the inside's all done, so working on that. I got as you saw in the last video, the wiring in the engine bay is all finished up, the truck fired up with the truck ignition. So now just kind of, like I said, running the wiring for the Painless kit in it for headlights and taillights and all that kind of fun stuff, so we can get that stuff all checked, get the AC controls all hooked in so we can get the AC checked out and tested and stuff like that, and get the Dakota Digital in so that we can take it for a cruise and do a little shakedown and stuff onto it. I have some test fitting to do, obviously, along with that, with the seat in it too. So either using buckets, or I've got a cool second row from something. I don't remember what it was, so we might try putting that in here too, because originally I got that for the Dodge, but that cab is way too small and so it wouldn't work. So we got Camaro seats in that one. So might try the bench in this one, see how it looks and see what the customer thinks of it and stuff. So but anyway, this is the big thing, migrating back to here. Once again, I have done the choppity chop chop and hackety hack hack hack. Well, just choppity chop, not really hacking, of the bed, as you can see. So it sits nice and tucked. One of the things I love about these is the stance and stuff onto it. You're doing a body drop right off the bat on them. So now my mounts kind of set the cab and stuff where they are, because I of course sell the front mounts and the rear cabs mount, which is, you can kind of see that's what that primer color kind of you see right there is the rear cab mount. So it just sits on the cab. So you can, obviously you could change those to change your height. Easiest way to change the height of the cab and stuff is you just put bigger bushings between the cab and the cab mounts itself, so you can get it up higher if you want to have more clearance and stuff onto it. So because you're like super close on this, let me see, in fact it might actually be rubbing a little bit if I remember right, depending on the size of tires and wheels and stuff on it. So these are the stock Crown Vic wheels and tires. So I think these are the 245s that are on here, which are the bigger ones, I think. Where are we at? Nope, 235, sorry. 235, 55, 17. So yeah, that's the other thing too is, so this one is the nicer Crown Vic. So it has the 17-inch wheels on it, where a lot of these ones, like that one has the 16s on it and stuff. So they just, different ones have different stuff on them. So these got the 17, so they're a little bit bigger, and so they stick up in there a little bit. So we probably will have to trim that inner lip right there, or try rolling it, because we have a roller now, thanks to my man Tommy and stuff. So we'll try doing that first and see how that works. But we really don't have to roll the fender. It's not so much the fender itself, it's the lip that's on the inside. So, which I guess we could kind of take care of that by rolling it. That would pull it out. So I might start that and see what it does if that does it. So, but yeah. So my standard style of cutting the bed, I got the seam right here, to cut right by this back seam, so that you're doing all your body work here right at the tail end of it. Same with up here as well too. Obviously this has to be filled in, and some grinding and metalwork and stuff done to it. But I cut up here at the front of the bed. So again, you're doing all your body work and stuff right here at this edge. So it's a whole lot easier to do that and stuff with it. So, and then same with like in the middle of the bed or at the head of the bed here, I cut and actually move this forward and then re-weld it so there's no seam across the middle, and not trying to weld inside these ridges, and not trying to, more importantly, grind inside these ridges and stuff. So same with the tail section too, onto it, notch back and come back, as you can see, so that we don't have the seam coming across. It makes things a lot trickier to do and stuff, but it's just a nicer way to do it. So and this one, we've got the Crown Vic tank. We were going to use the tank on it, but it sits a lot lower than what we want it to sit at. So I'm doing the Crown Vic tank in this one again, which is great. The Crown Vic tank is awesome. It's a big tank. It sucks up really nicely against this rear hump. You have to cut this hole here anyway, because the frame, chassis, whatever you want to call it, the frame of the Crown Vic is right here anyway. So if this tank wasn't here, you're not going to be able to come, all the way up to right here anyway, because you're going to start running into that. So you're going to have that opening there as it is. I've come up quite a ways with this tank like I usually do. It's right at, this upper level. You can go up higher, because technically the shock tower comes up to, right there, that 100 up, so that right there where my finger's at is kind of the height. That back inside there is where that shock tower's at. So you could actually bring that all the way up there if you wanted to. In fact, I'll drop down here so you can kind of see. But see, that's where the tank sets. So yeah, so you can see it when you're bent down like this. It doesn't hang any lower. It's the differential actually sets lower than it does, and it's hard to see right here with the angle, but the diff actually sets down lower. So if you are going to hit something, you're going to hit the diff before you hit the gas tank and stuff on it. And then you will not see that once there is a bumper and stuff on the back here, even if you do like a roll pan and stuff on it. But the customer, new front bumper, new rear bumper is on its way. So we'll have cool new bumpers on this thing. So that'll look slick. And like I said, we'll get this other stuff kind of welded up and everything on it. This center hump here will be the standard style that we do. So it'll be the squared off or angled metal onto it, and then we'll have the filler coming up. The customer would like to try and do an old military jerry can, so we'll figure that out so we can run it, which actually I kind of like, because that is one of the downsides, is the higher the gas tank, the higher the gas tank goes, the higher your fill comes up. And what I've had problems with before, when I've come, way up and stuff, or when I first started doing them, is, and then even same with slamming them down too. If you try to move this tank too far down, as you can see, it hits right here on the frame, your angle comes out. So it just kind of depends on, where you want. It's kind of one of the things is, a lot of times I'll run up through here and actually come out right in here with the fill neck and stuff on it. So it goes bling and runs down. So like I said, the higher it goes, then the higher spout, because the thing is, you get too short of it, an angle to it, or too extreme of an angle, or too short, and when you run from the gas pump with your pressure, then it just wants to jet back in there, and it'll shoot gas back at you. It'll trip the little safety thing onto it, so it becomes a real pain in the ass to fill and stuff like that. And so admittedly, I forget about that sometimes too, especially the first few I did. It was like, whoa, what the heck's going on here? And so that was a problem. So that's kind of one of those things to think about, is your tank placement and stuff like that onto it. So but depending on where you want it to set, like I said, the I don't know, Suburban tank, I guess. I don't remember exactly what it is, which one. It's from Andrew Peterson is where we got all our tanks from. So for this one, we're using the same, the Suburban style tank will be on pops back there. And then the blue truck here will get the Mustang tank actually coming out with it. So that'll have the fill here in the center section or whatever, the bed and stuff on it. So that's the only difference on that one. Plus, like I said, we have the Holly harness and everything for this one. So that's a whole nother story with it. But yeah, so this one's sat lower. So the other one will do something with that one, unless he doesn't want it to set that low, or we'll come up higher with the bed and stuff onto it. So, but yeah, so those sit there. So it just kind of depends. There's tons of different ways to do it. Nice thing about this is, like with this truck, we're running the factory Crown Vic stuff on everything. Crown Vic AC, the Crown Vic wiring, the Crown Vic engine, Crown Vic fuel system. The fuel control module is actually situated right back here behind the seat. Kind of sort of, well, back in here, yeah. Anyway, so we back here behind the seat is where the fuel control module sets. No centrifugal shut-off thing and stuff with it on this one. But yeah, so then it uses everything with fuel. The emission stuff, that stupid canister crap that goes back here to shigima jabberty, as Vice Grip says, the windy doo for that suction. The fart gas can, there we go. That's all gone because we're going to get Marty's tune on this thing. So it'll eliminate all the emissions, all the O2 and all that kind of stuff will be bye-bye on it, as well as we might bump up some of the power and stuff like that on it, because Marty can go all the way from a 1 to a 10. So we might throw some high numbers at this thing and see what it does, see if it's a screaming eagle, as they say. So but yeah, so that's that side, and this is this side. So everything's lined up really nice. We'll pull the rest of the prim. It's late and been doing a lot of stuff because I have a full-time job plus doing this stuff, so fun times. So thanks for everybody for the patience and stuff on it. But yeah, so that's an update. As you can see, Ling's line up. She's looking slick. She's all mounted in. We'll get it bolted down and stuff once I'm finalize everything. But got a couple bolts back here, a couple bolts in the front, a couple bolts in the middle. So, and it's plenty tightened down, and we'll get that center hump all made up on it and get the jerry can and stuff in and bedside. So yeah, only a few things to do, but she's getting together nicely. So yeah, I'm doing a little bit of work on the Dodge too. Port got everything in, just here's a side note, everything in, the engine's way over there, so all the rebuild kits there for it, and we got the fenders all cut and stuff on it. What else did we get? Oh yeah, the bed got cut to fit, so had to do some changes on the frame in order to get the bed to fit correctly on it. Started doing some got those welded in, the seams, and so started grinding them down and stuff, so that'll be cool, all nice and clean. And I don't know, we might have a new way. I know we talked about twin turbos before, but we got a nice little supercharger sitting over there, so that might be kind of fun to do here instead of, I mean, twin turbos would be cool because, you know, where they'll sit and could have them sitting on the hood and stuff like that. But that's a belt-driven supercharger, so you can bolt on, constant boost on it and stuff. No, intercooler to have to run, no hot side piping and all that kind of fun stuff. So that might be kind of cool. Oh yeah, I also switched the doors because they were kind of beat up and stuff. So had a better set of doors. Like I said, we're gonna paint all this anyway. Got steering. Oh yeah, I got the holes drilled for all the aftermarket gauges. So of course oil and fuel and temp and alternator and stuff. And actually speedometer is gonna go in that big circular one. It'll actually fit into the factory gauge cluster, and then down here will be the tack inside the square one and stuff too. So and the radio actually was, well, speaker and stuff was all over there with it, so I don't know what we'll do over there, but yeah, so I kind of, excuse me, look a little stockish on it, and got our aftermarket column, aftermarket wheel. There's kind of a glimpse of the gauges on it, so that'd be cool. So I think everything is all test fitted up and where it needs to be with it. I think I gotta put that hanger in for the top hanger for the steering column, which is right there. So but I think all my test fitting stuff and everything is where it needs to be, so I can pull this apart, start grinding down those ridges and stuff and the weld and everything on it. Yeah, I think so. I'm gonna do a false floor at this level where you see these crossovers, so that main ridge right there, that's where the bed floor will be at. Oh yeah, that's another big thing, is lots and lots of cross bracing in here. We do, the bed's already on for Stunt Truck, but there's all kinds, as I've talked about before, and I've showed in other videos, is all the cross bracing that's in, well, it's the same spot in this one, because amazingly enough, even though these are fully boxed frame, as I said before, these will twist a whole lot. In fact, without them, when you put this on a 2-post lift and lift up on the Fords, which the same will be for this Dodge too, as if you don't do that, you lift up to put, all 4 tires off the ground, and you can stick your fist between the bed like this sideways, but it's all the way through. And so you can see how nice my gaps are over here on this. That's kind of why my measurements are a bit different, because I like to have a tighter gap between the cab and the bed and stuff on it. But yeah, so when if you don't get that breast bracing in, when you lift this truck up, you can stick your fist, I can't remember which way it is, I think it's this way, or maybe this way, between the bed and the cab, so you can see how much that flexes and twists and stuff on it. So yeah, so you got to go in cross bracing. It has to be cross braced, otherwise you're gonna have that flex and stuff onto it. So some guys will run bolts, basically bolt this through like that, put spacer things in here. I don't know. To me, that's stupid and lazy and asinine. I know Hot Rod Garage did it, and honestly, I think I've said this before in videos, I'm super disappointed that they even did that. That's not the level of stuff they usually do. That's a stupid idea. These flex and stuff, and I'll end up cracking right there where you've got the bolts through and stuff onto it. You can argue with me all you want, but I'm an HVAC guy, and there are several brands of furnaces that did that same exact thing, and that's exactly what happened with them is, movement, and that was just those heat exchangers crack just by heating and cooling, expanding, contracting, like cracks in a cement or cracks in the road and stuff happen from expanding, contracting. That's just from heat, let alone, heat and cooling on this, plus this bed moving like this and the cab moving like this and stuff. It's just, yeah, I mean, you can do what you want to do with your builds, obviously, but that's kind of why I charge what I do. That's why the time it takes to do and all that kind of fun stuff is, because I don't do, again, it's just my opinion, but I don't do chintzy stuff like that in here. Same with, sliding the cab over the dash and all that kind of stuff. Like I said before, yes, the first couple builds I did it that way, and I might do another one just as a hot rod racer type of thing, but I'll do it way differently than that. But it's just, you still have to tear all this apart. Even if you use the Crown Vic dash and firewall and floor and all that kind of stuff, you're still, unless you want to run the risk of catching everything on fire in there, you got to tear it apart so you can weld things together correctly and stuff on it. But anyway, I digress. That has nothing to do with this build whatsoever with it. It's just something that irritates the living crap out of me. So yeah, that's what we got going on. Get some more wiring stuff, and then jump back onto these ones to get some stuff. Had to fight like hell to get the manifold bolts off of that damn thing, so that was loads of fun. Broke like other one off, but luckily we were able to get them all worked out and stuff. My neighbor, who's the millwright, gave me some badass like penetrating oil stuff, so you just spray it on that, soak that like every day for like a week, and then welded a nut to it, and off she came. So that one's got the full stainless works exhaust system on it, headers all the way back. And then we're also, instead of putting the mufflers, it came with the stainless works. I think we're going to do the Black Widow ones that are on it, so we'll do some test fitting, do some sound bites and that, so you guys can hear the difference and stuff on it. So yeah, that's about all we have right now. So more stuff to come, all kinds of fun stuff going on in the shop. Yay! Thanks for checking in, guys. Later. Sorry again about late not having a video for forever.